Hi, I'm currently on Grand Cayman Island with my wife Catherine, visiting her sister Carol at the Sunset House Resort. I just want to talk about Cayman a little bit later. Firstly, we arrived here via Houston and we spent 4 nights in Texas, which I just want to chat about now. The sole reason for visiting Texas is to visit the Alamo. I'd visited about 4 years, or just prior to COVID, and deeply regret not visiting San Antonio and the Alamo. So we stopped in Houston, spent a night at the airport, hired a car and drove to San Antonio. Coming from New Zealand, driving in Texas is something to behold. 10-lane highways, bridges everywhere. When we talk about Spaghetti Junction, you'll see in the image what we're talking about. If I were you, if you're hiring a car in this area, I would certainly be getting familiar with CarPlay or Google Play or Google Maps as you were. Driving to San Antonio from Houston takes about 3.5 hours if you go straight there, but we decided to spend some time visiting some of the smaller towns along the way. The most notable one was Columbus. It's a real, I guess, rural Texan town. Many of the buildings there, or houses there, were built around the same time as many of the houses in Dunedin, in fact, including our own. One of the things you'll see a lot on the road, on the highways around this area, are Buc-ee's. They're an essential stop if you want to have a bit of fun with Americana and all that sort of thing. You get fuel there, but you can get all sorts of food, some of which will amaze you with the content and variety. One of the highlights was beef jerky. We bought some jalapeno and honey, which was very, very nice, and we bought some ghost pepper, which I recommend you probably steer clear of. Arriving in San Antonio, we chose to stay out by the airport. I just think it's easier if you've got a rental car to not have that drama at the end of the day trying to find a hotel in the central city. Most airport hotels have good connections into the city, so we stayed at the Holiday Inn Express out by San Antonio Airport. So on our first evening in San Antonio, we got an Uber into the centre of the city to Mitiera Cafe. So using Ubers in Texas is just the same as using them in New Zealand. You can use the same app, use the same form of payments. It's really easy. The Mitiera Cafe is obviously a Mexican restaurant. It was completely bonkers. We walked in, we sort of had to wait half an hour for a table. We had a Zapata and a Paloma margaritas, which were very nice. But the atmosphere, the goings on there were just hilarious to watch, and it was it's a really memorable experience. Following morning, we drove into San Antonio City. It was a little bit of trepidation with this, but as I say, with CarPlay and Siri, we got there like within about 10 minutes from the airport hotel. Found a public park, which was free. It's quite important actually, because some of the paid parking, you're looking at $75 a day, which is obviously a big hit for us from New Zealand. The park was right beside the Alamo, so we had already pre-purchased a guided tour of the Alamo, which I would seriously suggest is sort of required to really get the best out of your visit. All that seriously remains of the Alamo is the facade of the church. The rest is walls and some remnants of the original barracks. So it was really important to have a good guide, show you around and bring the place to life. We thought we'd spend about an hour at the Alamo, but we ended up spending 2.5 hours there. There's plenty to see and do. The museum is really, really great with some of the intricate details from the battle itself, and a lot of the paraphernalia that was left. We spent 2.5 hours in the Alamo, and then we walked around the central city and jumped on a Go Rio boat for a tour along some of the city's waterways. It was really good. It was a bit cheesy, but good fun. The guide was hilarious, in fact, which made it a really, really good experience, and it's nice to see the city from the water. The other main reason for visiting San Antonio was to visit one of the Spanish missions, in this case San Jose. Beautiful church, very simple in its design. I really like these sorts of places. They evoke an aura of an era that's long gone. That I've always been interested in knowing why people did things, what motivated them, and the area around San Jose is testament to some people's belief, I guess, and sense of mission. May not always agree with it, but it's always interesting to me to know why people did what they did. The day we had in San Antonio was everything I wanted it to be. Alamo had long been on my bucket list, as was the mission at San Jose. Really pleased by the time we got back to our hotel. We just settled in for the night, went to a local supermarket to grab some food and a bottle of wine, enjoyed that, and then the next day we headed back to Houston. So from Houston we flew to Grand Cayman, where we currently are, and more about that later. You get that Amarula?